Hi there, it's Mrs. Piro. Today we're going to put some color on our balloon picture. If you remember from my last video, we drew some hot air balloons. We tried to make them look like they were in the foreground, the middle ground, and the background by changing the size of them. And also by changing decorations and designs on our balloons to give it some visual interest. Okay, so today you have to choose a coloring material. I've done a second picture here with some variety of lines. I put a thicker line in the foreground, a medium line in the middle ground, and I tried to make my background balloons a little bit thinner. I like to use a combination, sometimes colored pencils, sometimes crayons, and also if you happen to have some watercolor paint, this is a nice thing to use for the sky area. It'll give you some beautiful color in your sky. So right now I'm just going to have some fun and draw, color my balloons. I'm going to go ahead and use crayons because I want to use the watercolor paint in the background. And if you use a little bit of crayon and a little bit of watercolor paint on the picture, it's a watercolor wash and it comes out really cool. So I'm just going to pick my favorite colors and I'm going to speed through the video because this is going to take a while. And you can watch me color if you want while you are coloring. It's up to you. Okay, there you have it. Now if you want to, you could also take some watercolor paints and do a little painting on the top of this. I like it just the way it is. I could leave it like that. If I decide I want to add some watercolor paint, I'm going to need to wake up my paints with some water. I'm going to put a little bit of color in this light blue because that's the only color I really need right now. Load up my brush. This is a little bit big for this project. You don't need this big of a brush, but it's the one I had closest to hand while I'm filming. And then I'm going to just paint a little bit right on top of that crayon. And what this does is it gives it a beautiful sort of watercolor wash look. I should have used a white crayon on my clouds. That would protect them from the paint. If you color in the clouds first with the white, then if you get a little bit of blue paint on top of them, it just sort of beads up and moves off to the side. Broke my crayon there a little bit. But this waxy paint will help protect your, and you can even paint right over the top of anything that you colored with crayon. Okay, and then all of a sudden you get this beautiful resist kind of thing happening. This is actually a really nice brush to use for this because you can cover a large area at a time. But if you don't have a big wide brush like that, just put a lot of water in your paint. Choose the light blue paint rather than the dark blue. Anywhere I did not put crayon is not going to be protected, so you don't want to necessarily paint over that area. So I do have to think about if I've left any unpainted area, uncolored areas with crayon. And then I'm just going to slide this over the top of any waxy crayon stuff and give it a finished piece look. Okay, and there's my hot air balloon scene with the watercolor wash crayons.